What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be reviewing the around 11 clash between Port Adelaide and Essendon. Port getting the job done by 16 points in what was a tale of two halves of footy, one dry and one wet. And I just came back from the game, and let me tell you, that second half was not enjoyable at all. But regardless, we're 5 and 6 going into the bye, beating Essendon 16 points, and we got the 4 points in the end, which was most crucial. I do apologise for my voice. I'm under the weather. I'm struggling at the moment, but we're going to continue on to make content throughout the bye week, and I look forward to bringing you that. But for now, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content. Let's get straight into this review. Port Adelaide, in the end, getting the job done, 16 points, a win, a fifth win of the year, a dominant performance in that first half that really set us up for the rest of the game. We knew the rain was coming. We knew the wet weather conditions were going to play a part in some form of capacity, and they did in that third quarter. Essendon kicking 4 goals to 1, and they had a lot of shots on goal and really did make some mistakes, and so did we late in the game in the end. And for us, it's a win you take going into the bye 5 and 6. Every win counts for us, no matter the situation, and we did do the job in a fashion that I was pleased with for the first half. The second half, obviously, rain-driven. You couldn't judge us on skills. I think, if anything, the second half was just on effort. The situation in itself was kind of dire. We had opportunities, but in that third quarter, Essendon really took it up, and they wanted the footy. They wanted to play wet weather footy, and we didn't really look like we were interested for 3 quarters of that third quarter. But I think the last 5 minutes or so, Dumont kicking the goal, who I must say I'm really impressed with how he's going as a recruit for us. Just fits in nicely to our structure, runs out the games well, and he uses the footy pretty cleanly and makes smart decisions, which is, I think he's underrated by some, and people don't look at him in a way that he should be, and that's that's the way things go. But Dumont, sensational, couple of shots on goal, and was capable of making an impact. And I think he basically, with that goal, obviously sewn up the game in the third quarter, because there wasn't a goal kicked in that last quarter, and it stopped raining pretty much, and we had 4 shots on goal to, I think, 2 for Essendon. And it was just one of those days that you just go in to the Adelaide Oval as a Port fan. I think there was 20,000 there, expecting poor conditions. I don't think it quite got to what I was expecting as wet weather footy, but regardless, it rained, it was cold, windy, and we played our part and got the job done. Some key people I'd like to mention. Look, it was a pretty even spread of performance for Port. I think Ollie Wines in the wet was pretty good. Connor Rosie did his part and got plenty of the touches. I thought Riley Bonner coming back into the side was really impressive. Robbie Gray early was really clean through in those conditions. Carl Amon I thought was pretty impressive, and the way he went about Pep's attack on the footy is something I haven't seen in a long time from a Port player. There was 2 instances in the third quarter where he just barreled over Merritt and barreled over, I think it was Draper he ran into, and there was another contest as well that he had on the boundary line. And it's just efforts like that make it really really impressive to see. And desperation, the desperation is still there, and it's underlying in our game plan at the moment. And you saw how well we moved that footy in the first half. Our slingshot transition footy was something we haven't done much this year, so that was really impressive. And I think overall, that desperation got us across the line. We didn't kick goals in the end to win games. Desperation did. And it's a key mark by Aliir, who, in that last quarter, Waterman was running on goal, and Aliir's continued the chase and tackled him and holding the ball. There's still 10 minutes to go, and Essendon are only 15 points down. There's every opportunity he kicks a goal there or sets up for another goal. They're right in that game, and they were 1 goal away from breaking it. So it's the desperation that got us across the line, and I was really impressed with that. Besides that third quarter, I know what you're thinking. Anthony, you're really not looking at this in a way that you should be. We should be putting so much pressure on the team and the coaches, and I understand that completely. But for what it was, for a game of footy, tale of 2 halves, I was impressed with the first half. Really showed some signs that we were capable of going back to that 2021-2020 form. But then the second half was basically the story of our 2022, and that's the disappointment that we're going to carry. But I'm being positive. We're going into the bye 5-6 after being 0-5. If you look at that as a separate situation, it's really impressive and a great comeback by the footy club to be from what we were to this situation. Really impressive. As a whole, yeah, be disappointed. But I think overall, I'm happy with 5-6 going into the bye. The change is coming. Change is definitely coming, and we know that. But 5-6 going into the bye, pretty impressed. Charlie Dixon's return to footy was really exceptional to see. I thought his contest was really good. He looked like he hadn't missed a beat really, and he was fit. He looked big, he looked strong, and he was really competing well. And I think the Finlayson, Marshall, and Dixon combo, the trio, they worked. In that first half, they really had a plan in motion. I think that'll click a lot more. All of them kicked a goal on the board, and Toddy Marshall, up the ground looked really good. Charlie Dixon's hands, as Jack Hudson, who I was sitting with, described them as table tennis paddles. His hands were table tennis paddles. Honestly, I pissed myself laughing. But I think overall, Charlie's impact on the game wasn't big, but it was enough. For a returning game, he kicked 2 goals. His presence was there. His presence was felt. And the big boys kicked goals. And that's something I think we've got to be really impressed with. And his time will come. He'll kick goals continuously, but he'll have one of those games where you just go, yeah, Charlie, good man. He's back. He's back in a big way. And our next month of footy is going to prove that. With Charlie back in, you have a bye. A team has a rest. The Maggies unfortunately went down to North, but there was still more signs there that improvement is coming. Unfortunately lost Fantasia with a quad injury very early on in that North game yesterday for the Maggies, which is unfortunate. But you go into the bye, and as I said, 5-6, but you got Charlie having a couple of games under his belt, but gets a rest. Everyone gets a refresher. I think the likes of Boak and Wines and Darcy Byrne-Jones, these blokes, Jonas, they need a bit of a rest. They've worked hard, I think, to get back to the way we should be, and we're not there yet, but it's impressive to work and fight back the way we have. And Robbie Gray as well can throw into that mix. The kids, Rosie and Butters, have lifted their shoulders. Houston's had a fantastic year. Burton the same. And Power Pepper, of course, as well. So this bye comes at a crucial time. Bit of momentum. And I'm really content with where we are from where we were. Not a lot more to add. I think Port fans, a lot can be reviewed from this game. I think in terms of conditions and how we acted and how we played, we did lose a few key stats, which was unfortunate, but we dominated in the areas that we needed to, and that was the scoreboard, and that was contested possession, I'm pretty sure. So it's an impressive line to win. We're beating the Essendon Bombers, though, so it's not an impressive win by all means, but it's a win. It's 4 points in the bag, and I think now that takes us into the bye in pretty good stead. But there's a lot of games going around at the moment. Collingwood beating Carlton. Gold Coast are in good form. The Dogs are starting to find their feet. Richmond around the mark, who we play after the bye. There's a lot of key teams that are fighting for that position in the eighth spot. So we're going to be on our game, and we're going to be prepared to go, but I'm looking forward to see what the challenge brings after the bye. Thanks so much for watching, Port fans. That was my review. I do apologise again for the lack of content and the stuff. A lot of things have come my way. Interviewing Gavin Wanganeen and Alapado Carlo last week on Pairs in a Pod. That took a lot of time, and as well being sick, it's been tough to get some content out for you, and I do apologise for that. So over the next couple of weeks, there's a special video coming with a few of the YouTube boys, so that's going to be fun. And a couple of other key things as well I want to speak about on videos too. So keep an eye out for that. So subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content. And yeah, get on board because we're on our way to 5K. So I really want to get to that by the end of the year. So support me. But thank you for watching. My name's Anthony, and as always, calm the pair.